Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to go ahead and open up this new power station from Dabbsson. It is the Dabbsson DBS2100 Pro. So let's find out what's going on inside. Alright, when you first open the box, there is a big piece of styrofoam with a little box inside of it, and then underneath that we have our user's manual and also some sort of packaged dealio, which we'll open up in a second. Alright, then we have the power station. Alright, well first, how about we get the dimensions and the weight of this unit. When it comes to length, it is right at 17 inches long. The height is right at 12 inches. And the depth is right at 12 inches. And it weighs in at 54.1 pounds. All right, and let's look at what this power station has to offer. And I'm gonna try something a little different. I'm gonna go ahead and try to figure out what's going on with this power station without even touching the manual. You will see that the manual is still in its little plastic bag here. And so let's do a little exploration of this unit. All right, on the front, it looks like we have a nice USB panel going on right here. We have just your typical 5 volt, 2.4 amp USB-A. And then we have two quick charge 3.0, I believe those are 18 watt max USB-A QC3s. And then we have three USB-C ports right here. The top one is a power delivery 30 watt, and then the two on the bottom, or the second two, are your power delivery 100 watt. And then there is a button right here which will turn this section off and on. Right here is your display, which will be lighting up in a second. We have a light bar right here, which can be controlled with this button right here. We have our power button, and then we have our Internet of Things reset button. Over here we have our DC section, so we have our 12 volt 10 amp cigarette lighter port right here. And then we have two, looks like 5521 ports. And again, here is the on off button for this section here. All right, if we turn it to this side, we are looking at a nice handle. We also have a couple of cooling fans right here. And then we have three 120 volt AC receptacles, which are, I believe, up to 20 amps each. We also have our AC on and off button right here. And then we do have an RV style 30 amp plug-in right here for 30 amps max. And then we have this cover which shows a parallel port. This is a cord where you can actually connect two of these units together in parallel. I don't think you can quite double the output capacity, but it's really close. The back just gives you some basic information, but it does have WhatsApp numbers right here for service. And also you can download the Dabbsson app right here for Android and Apple. All right, we have the other side. We have an input for the fans right here. I believe this is the input. And then we have a little door right here for all of the charging that we can do. So right here on the far left, we have our charging speed, which is either fast or slow. It's just a little toggle switch. We have an XT60 connector right here. That is for your solar. It does say that it's between 12 and 60 volts of solar and at 25 amps max. We have our AC plug-in right here. And that does say that it can do 100 to 120 volts at 15 amps max. We have our reset button right here in case there's an issue. And then we have a data port, which I'm not too sure what that's for. Underneath that, we have two expansion slots for batteries, because a single unit can actually be expanded by two extra batteries. All right, so let's go ahead and turn on this unit and see what happens. All right, you have to hold it down for a couple seconds. The display lights up. And the display shows that our input is 0, our output is 0. It has a little Wi-Fi signal right here. So that means that it's probably searching for a Wi-Fi signal. It says the amount of hours at 99.9 and that the battery is at 54% capacity right now. When it comes to the light, press it once for a solid light. Press it again for a brighter light. Press it again, and it looks like just, oh, there's our SOS light right there. And press it again, and it turns it off. All right, if we turn on the USB, it does show at the top that there's a USB-A and a USB-C symbol, so that means that this section is on. If we go ahead and press the 12-volt side, we do get a little barrel port signal, so that means that side is on. And then if we go over to the side and we turn on the AC side, we do get a 60 hertz and a little plug right there saying that the AC section is turned on. All right, let's go ahead and find out what is included in this box right here. And what we have is an AC power cord and an XT60 to MC4 connection, which is very nice. And then also an XT60 to cigarette lighter adapter. All right, inside this black little envelope, you will find the 36-month warranty, and it is in several different languages. So you will definitely want to activate that as soon as you get your unit. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and plug this thing in, and I want to see how fast right off the gate will it charge on slow, and if we switch it to fast, how fast it will charge there. So let's go ahead and get this very well-sized AC cord and plug it in. Alright, let's plug it in. And immediately it shows a little, it looks like a little engine, actually. And our input is ramping up. It's 310, 360, 370, 415, 465, 522, 574, 580. We're almost at 600. And we are right at 600 watts of input. So that is on your slow setting, which is pretty good. And it says at the current capacity of 54%, our recharge time is 2 hours. So what happens if we just go ahead and switch it over to the fast setting? Okay, switched over. And it immediately is ramping up. It's now 750, 790, 842. The fans in the unit have turned on. We are now at 945, 970, 980. And it looks like it stops at 985. And it does show that the recharge time is 1.2 hours. Alright, I went ahead and opened up the manual to find more of the specifics of this unit. It does say that the battery capacity in this is 2,150 watt hours. And that is a LiPo 4 chemistry, so you're looking at about 4,000 cycles of this battery before it gets down to being a usability of about 80%. So you're looking at a long lifespan for this thing. When it comes to the AC inverter, it says that it can do 2,400 watts total out of the AC, which is pretty good. And that it will surge up to 4,800 watts. When it comes to charging, this does say that the AC charging, it's a 1,800 watt max, which I only saw it going up to, it wasn't even going up to 1,000. When it comes to solar charging, you're looking at between 12 and 60 volts of solar, and it's at 25 amps max. So that means you can charge with up to 1,200 watts of solar for this unit. When it comes to car charging, you can plug it in with this cord right here, and it does support 12 volt or 24 volt inputs from your car. But remember that it's defaulted to only accepting about 8 amps. So you're only going to get about either 100 or around 195 watts of input. One of the things that I didn't really know about was this data port right here. And it does say that it's a product upgrade port, but it's only to be used by the manufacturer. So you won't be using this, this data port at all. All right, the rest of this manual kind of talks about how you can wire up to 1,200 watts of solar properly in order to keep this unit safe. It also talks about the battery expansion packs that you can buy. Like I said, this has 2150 watt hours, but you can buy up to 2 expansion packs for 1 unit, which will give them an additional 2150 up to 2, so up to 4300 more watt hours of capacity. And then it talks about how you can parallel this unit to another unit just like it, so that way you can increase the AC capacity up to like 4400 watts. So all in all, if you had 2 of these units and 4 of the expansion batteries, you could get up to 12,900 watt hours and a peak of 4400 watts of AC. So you could turn this unit, you could expand it up to like a whole home backup solution. All right, so I'm going to charge this thing up to 100%, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the discharge tests on the DC side. And then for our AC efficiency test, I'll probably do like a 400 watt draw from the AC side. And as soon as I get that done, I will let you know the results. All right, well, the DC capacity test is done for the Dabbsson DBS2100 Pro. And you can see that it says that we got 1763.43 watt hours out of the available 2150 watt hours in the unit. Now, if you were to divide that out, you would get about an 82% efficiency rate on the DC side, which is typical for this size of a power station. Now, also, I wanted to show you the amount of time it took to run this test. It was a 5 amp draw, and it took 29.5 hours. So you have to realize that a 5 amp draw at 12 volts, that's around 60 watts. So you can run a 60 watt appliance for almost 30 hours. All right, well, the AC capacity test is now done for this Dabbsson, so let's go ahead and pull it out, put it into a power source, and it shows a kilowatt capacity of 1933. So if you divide 1933 divided by the total capacity of 2150, you actually get a 89.9% efficiency rate, so almost a 90% efficiency rate. So that is pretty good for a power station of this size. All right, well, I've got the Dabbsson charged back up to about 57%. I think that's perfect for the remaining amount of testing I want to do, because I also want to test to see how fast of a charge I can get this thing going. But anyway, I went ahead and tested all of the USB ports using my X100 because it is very accurate on what it shows as what's being charged. And all of these ports delivered exactly what they are specified to do. Now, keep in mind, if you don't get the amount of wattage out of these ports that you're supposed to get, you need to check your wiring, because this thin little USB-C to USB-C wire, it can only handle up to 60 watts. So make sure you have good size cabling for your USB-C ports in particular. This one right here can handle up to 240 watts. All right, so the next thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and test the DC side for the barrel port, or the car cigarette lighter port as some refer to it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if it can run my vacuum. All right, so this is the This Works car vacuum. It's powered by a cigarette lighter plug. And some mid-size power stations that I've reviewed before have failed at running this vacuum. So I'll be interested to see what happens here. Let's go ahead and turn it on, plug it in. Here we go. Wow. Instant overload. It didn't even try. It just went straight into overload. And just so you know this vacuum works, I went ahead and grabbed my Blue Eddy EB3A and it works just fine. And if I measure the amperage from this vacuum, it is 10.59 amps. All right, for this next part, I wanted to test the AC side to see if we could actually get it up to 2400 watts of continuous use. But before that, I wanted to install the app so you could follow along and I could show you some bits about the app. So let's go ahead and put it on the screen right now. What I did was I went into the user's manual and I just scanned the QR code, and it took me right to the Android Play Store link, and off and running. Now, mind you, you have to register and log into this app, so that might take away a lot of the people already. But this unit can be used for a whole home backup if you max it out with all the batteries and a second unit and all that. So it would be worth registering in that kind of case. But when you first open up the app, you're gonna have to find the unit, and the manual goes step by step on how to connect your unit to your phone and to your Wi-Fi and all that stuff. After that, it talks about how to update the firmware, and then you're kind of on your own. It doesn't say anything else about the app. So when we open up the app and we've already got it logged in and everything's ready to go, you'll see that I have the DBS2100 Pro right here, and it shows 57% state of charge, which is the same as on the screen. We'll go ahead and click on it, and it comes up with like this home screen right here. Now, this app is pretty full featured, which is kind of nice. You can control any aspect of this from the app. You know, you can go to your inputs. You can see how much input from the AC and the DC. You can see your outputs. You can turn on and off the AC, the USB, and the DC side. And you can actually see each individual port, like for right now, which individual port on the USB side and how much wattage is being taken out from it. It does have P boost right here, so that kind of gives the inverter that extra boost. We're gonna go ahead and turn that off for the testing. So that way, hopefully something will happen once it gets to that 2400 watts. And it should stay at a continuous 120 volts. You can also control the LED lighting at the bottom, and you can switch between the three settings. You can also power off the unit from this upper right-hand corner. You can power it off, like you can press it, and it says, are you sure you want to turn off the unit? It's saying that because that button won't turn the unit back on. So if you want to turn it off, you can do it, but don't expect to be able to turn it back on from the app. You actually have to come over to the station itself and power it on. All right, now if we go over to the complete upper right corner, you will see this little cog. Let's go ahead and press on that, and that takes us to our settings. Now there is a charge and discharge setting. You can see that fast charge mode is turned off right now. That means that in the switch on the side, it's on slow mode. And in slow mode, you can actually adjust the speed. If it's in fast charging mode, this will be on. That is because the switch is actually on fast mode. And fast mode, it won't let you be able to change anything below. So in slow mode, you can see that you can change the AC output voltage from 100 to 120. In the charging speed, you can actually go from 50 all the way up to 2100, which I don't know if it will be able to do 2100, but we'll kind of mess with that in a little bit. And the AC charging frequency, it basically just says that how you can test it to make sure that the frequency is correct. So you can't actually just change the frequency on the unit. All right, if we look at the time management, now this thing right here, I like this option. You can schedule it to start up, shut down, charging and discharging, but I can't get it to work on this unit. If I click on it, it always says the scheduled task setting will only take effect when the device is in standby mode. I've done everything to try to get this thing into standby mode. I mean, I'm guessing I have to have everything turned off, which it is. I can press the screen, but no matter what I do, I don't know what standby mode is. I mean, unless I have the unit off, which I wouldn't think that would work because it needs to have a Wi-Fi or a Bluetooth signal. So I don't know what's going on there. So if you have the Dabbsson 2100 Pro, please leave it in the comments on how to use the time management, because it doesn't say anything about it in the manual as well. So we'll go to energy saving mode. That mode you can turn on, and it will make it so the AC or the DC side will turn off after a certain amount of time, which is nice. And there's also a screen timeout. There are firmware updates and current versions. There's also a share device, so you can actually add it to another phone or device, so two people can operate it at the same time. And then there is other. The beep is one thing that you can turn on and off. You can also change the homepage style, so I could change it to either one of these displays. Right now I have it on standard, but you can actually change it to energy flow as well. All right, now that we went through the app, let's go ahead and test out this AC side. All right, to test the AC side, I have a 1200 watt heat gun. I have a 1000 watt Elite Gourmet cooktop, and I have a 200 watt heater. So we have in total 2400 watts here. And I do have the unit set to not do like a power boost mode, so it should never drop down in voltage. Right now it is showing 120.2 volts. So let's go ahead and turn on some stuff and start running this test. All right, first we're doing the 1000 watt Heat Gourmet. And you can see the output on the app is 977 watts. Let's go ahead and turn on the heat gun. All right, the output is now 2114 watts. Our voltage has dropped down to 119 volts. So let's go ahead and turn on this little heater. The voltage is still at 119.7 volts. Our output is 2384, and it says it can run this for about a half hour. It does say that on the app as well. The temperature of the unit is at 72 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm gonna go ahead and let this run for about 2 more minutes. All right, well, it's been 2 minutes and it's ran 2283 watts continuous with no problems. The voltage is still at 119.8 volts, so it's holding steady. So I would say it passed the high amperage test on the AC side very well. And the fans are on, and that's as loud as they are. Those fans are very quiet, which is very nice. And the temperature of the unit only went up to 82 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, now that we know that it can handle, almost 23 to 2400 watts continuous for a few minutes, that's pretty impressive for this unit. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on, well, actually I'm not gonna turn on P-Boost yet. I wanna see what happens if we introduce the new wave and kick it way over 2400 watts to see what happens. So let's go ahead and turn on stuff again and see how long we can run, instead of a 200 watt heater, a 600 watt new wave induction cooktop. So let's begin. Turn on the heat gun, turn on the Elite Gourmet, and now we're right at 2100 watts. Let's go ahead and turn on the new wave at 600 watts. Start. 2600 watts, 2700. And the AC side shut off after, about 5 to 10 seconds. So that is exactly what it should do to protect itself. And after about 20 to 30 seconds, the AC side did actually turn itself back on. So that's pretty good. So let's go ahead and turn on P-Boost. P-Boost is turned on, so let's turn the AC back on. Okay, AC is on. P-Boost is also on. So let's go ahead and turn this stuff on again, and we'll watch the voltage to see what happens. All right, we should get back up to 2100 to 2200 watts. Our voltage is still at 119.8. So let's go ahead and turn on the new wave again at 600 watts. Start and see what happens. Output is boosting up. Our voltage is still at 119.7. Output is lowering. It lowered it down to 2381 watts, which is great. And our voltage is still at a respectable 110.4. So let's see if we crank this up to 900. Voltage is dropping down to 99.9 volts. And our wattage is staying the same. So it is lowering down pretty far. And you can hear the fan on the heat gun, it's lowered down. So let's go ahead and change it to 1300 watts. Our voltage is now dropped to 94, 94.6 volts, and then the unit shut itself off, displaying an overload event again. Okay, so I've gone ahead and plugged in the Dabbsson into the AC outlet, and it's on the normal slow setting on the side. So it is charging at 600 watts exactly right now. If we open up the app, we can see that it does show on the beginning screen that it is charging. So let's go ahead and tap on it. And the input does show that it is charging at 599 to 600 watts, and it will take 2.3 hours for this to charge up to 100%. Now let's go into settings and go into charge discharge setting. And I want to see if I can change the charging speed from the app and have it affect directly onto here. So let's go ahead and increase it to 1200 watts. Confirm. Instantly the input is going up. You can see that it's now at 900 watts. A 1060. All right, and it's reached 1200 watts. It did it instantly. It didn't need to reset or anything weird like that. So that was 1200 watts. Let's just see what happens if we go all the way up to 2100 watts. So we'll hit settings, charge discharge, charging speed, crank it up to 2100 watts and confirm. And you notice that the battery is at 46%, so it should be able to charge at its max charge rate right now. And so far, it looks like it's staying steady at 1638 to 39 watts of charge. And it says it will take 0.8 hours to charge up. So even though the app says it can go up to 2100 watts of charge, we're not getting anywhere near that. All right, so what do I think of the Dabbsson DBS2100 Pro? Well, when it comes to the AC side, it can perform flawlessly, really. Once it gets a little bit over 2400 watts without that P boost on, the inverter shuts down. And with that P boost on, you can actually power well over 2400 watts, but the voltage does drop. And then finally, when it just can't handle anymore, the inverter again turns off. So that's a great feature. Also, it does have a 30 amp plug, but unfortunately I don't have a way of testing that. When it came to the USB side, everything powered exactly what it should be within about 1 watt, so that is perfect. The display is very nice. It shows you pretty much everything that you need to know. I don't have any qualms about that. I do like the fact that it does have a little light right here. These mid-sized power stations are starting to kind of go away with the light, so I do like that little feature. When it comes to the cigarette lighter port, the 12 volts, 10 amp port, it doesn't have a surge capacity at all. So if you have something that's over 10 amps, it won't power it. It won't even try. So be mindful of that. And then when it came to the AC charging, I thought it said it can do a max of like 1800 watts, but I didn't get anywhere near that. I got up to right around 16 to 1700 watts. So, which is still pretty fast. I mean, you could charge this thing in an hour and a half. Another thing I do like about this unit is that you can wire up to 1200 watts of solar. So you can put a pretty large array of solar panels on here to be able to charge this up a little bit quicker. So if you have any questions about the Dabbsson DBS2100 Pro, please go ahead and leave them in the comments. I'll have a link to this item in my description just in case you want to look further into it. Thank you so much for watching this video and have a great day. Bye-bye.